the contemplation of various aspects of sentencing. One that can include a minimum sentence of 25 years followed by life on probation. I will note for the record, Your Honor, that prior to trial, the state of Georgia recommended to Mr. Gibson a sentence of 25 years on the rape. Now, our system of justice, Your Honor, frowns upon a trial penalty, a trial tax, sentencing people harsher because they elected to exercise their Sixth Amendment right to a trial and handing and imposing a much harsher sentence goes against the grain of justice, because what it does is it has a tendency to snuff out the Sixth Amendment if a person is in fear of going to trial because of the trial penalty or the trial tax. These victims that have come forward to this podium have expressed to this court what they want the court to do.
They made the wrong judgment. I've done things in my life, I'm not perfect. But the things I've been accused of, I know that I haven't done those things. I know it's typical for a person to come up here and, show remorse to, crimes that they have done, but I can only show remorse to the people that I know that was in this trial, which is Kiara Adams, Deanna Sanders, and Jasmine Brown. Not remorse on behalf of like I did anything to them, because if you know me, and people who really know me know that I wouldn't force anybody to do anything. I met women, I dated women who were doing escort or whatever, however people want to look at it from a moral standpoint, but who was doing these things as a grown woman. I've only dealt with grown women. Nothing was forced. Nothing was coerced or anything of that nature. If you notice, before this trial, no woman can say anything about me before this trial. If you notice, before this indictment, no woman can say anything about me before this indictment. I get the situations that people are put in when they're faced with a certain type of crime or a certain type of time, and they're bullied into this situation to put the blame on someone, or to put the blame on Cash Out, or to put the blame on someone who's at the top. That's why I didn't really fault them for their decision. I didn't fault Deanna Sanders for making her decision during a proffer. She just had a child. Mind you, she was just on video call with me while being incarcerated. I don't fault Kiara Adams for doing the things she did with her proffer, because mind you, she was facing a certain amount of time handling her probation in different cases that she's on. I don't fault people for making accusations, because I'm a man that typically let women leave on their own behalf. Never held them in prison or held them in slavery or said, you can't leave me, or you can't do this. Every woman you've seen come on this stand showed you that they left and came back willingly on their own. What I mean by that, they left on their own and they came back willingly on their own. During this trial, I was able to see, how valuable life is, and how valuable the people that you hang around, or the people that you even date, or the people that you even know, how valuable it is to judge their character. Sometimes I let people stay around who I knew was going to affect a situation that I had going on. So I don't, and for the people who came to this trial that I never met a day in my life, never had any contact with them, never had a text message with them, never had an interaction with them, don't even know where most of these stories came from, it's baffling. Never forced a woman to commit a sexual act. Never, I've been traveling all around the world from here to Dubai, and you would never hear a woman say that I forced them to do anything sexual or commit a rape with anybody. I don't hang around people that do things of that nature. I feel like, and somebody asked me this the other day, it was like, every time I see your head high and you always smiling, because when you have that confidence, it takes me back to the Bible. When you have that confidence and you know you can be falsely accused of things, Jesus was falsely accused, a lot of the prophets were falsely accused. You don't have that emotion like you've done something. You know, so if you see me with my head high, or if you see me smiling, it's because I know at the end of the day, through Jesus Christ, the Most High will always give you the action.
So, Your Honor, I'm asking this court to measure what was offered before trial and what the court believes is fair after this trial, and that there not be a trial penalty imposed. I'm asking the court to consider a 30-year sentence with all of the charges run concurrent, with the exception of the firearm charge that has to be, under our statute, a consecutive imposition.
She's been positively engaged and working on rehabilitation. One of the things that Mr. Matthews mentioned that is expected to come out of sentencing and what the expectation is. She's already been working on her rehabilitation since she's been in custody. She has been a pod worker, which is the equivalent of a trustee. So her requirements there is that she cleans the pod, that she passes out food, that she mops floors, that she sweeps floors, that she makes sure that clothes get washed. And while that sounds to some, while it might be, I don't know, even demeaning to some, it's actually a privilege that's bestowed upon them while they're in custody, that they're able to be trusted to do these things. And she's been trusted to do these things while she's been in custody since 2022. She has participated in the New Beginnings program, is still participating in the New Beginnings program, working towards the certificate that they receive at the end of that. Through that, they participate in anger management, parenting classes, AA classes, cosmetology, all these things, regardless of whether or not these are areas that pertain to their particular arrest or pertain to something that they have personally asked for or needed, and she's walked through all of them. She's participated in everything.
Just to speak to the judge, just a little bit. I'm so sorry for the victims, and I pray for them and will continue to pray. Because God says, if you love me, you love others. And when I pray wholeheartedly. I didn't think I could do it in the beginning. I said, God, I don't know if I can do this. But he knew exactly what he wanted me to do. He chose me to do this. I couldn't even stop teaching the word if I wanted to. That's not even an option with me.
Stay positive and don't do nothing negative. Just stay positive and stay prayed up. I talk to my mama every day that's all I call my mama, every day since I was locked up. And I talk to my son, I tell him, make the right decision. I talk to him like he's a brother, make the right decision. And think about the consequences on the bad and the good.
As to count 1, violation of the Georgia RICO Act, 20 years to serve in confinement. Count 37, trafficking a person for sexual servitude, 10 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive to count 1. You're to have no contact with any of the victims, including Diamond Irvin, named in this indictment, or their families. You are to register as a sex offender. You are to stay away from 737 Alfred Road, the Mezzo at 2171 Peachtree Road, the address at the St. George's Commons, 9340, and the FIB, Fulton Industrial Boulevard corridor. You may be seated. All right, Mr. Taylor. On count 1, violation of the Georgia RICO Act, 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 9. Count 9, rape, life in confinement. Count 11, aggravated sodomy, life in confinement to run concurrent with count 9. Count 13, trafficking a person for sexual servitude, 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 1. Count 15, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 20 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 13. Count 16, false imprisonment, 10 years to serve in confinement to run consecutive with count 15. Count 17, pandering by compulsion, 10 years to serve in confinement to run concurrent with count 9, to run concurrent with count 9. Count 20, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer by use of threats or violence, 10 years to serve to run concurrent with count 9 and a suspended fine of $300. You're to have no contact with any of the victims named in the indictment, nor are you to have any contact with Diamond Irvin or any of their families. You are to stay away from the Fulton Industrial Boulevard corridor. You are to stay away from and register as a sex offender. And that is the sentence of this court. You may be seated. Mr. Gibson, Ms. Smith, and Mr. Taylor, I have to give you some post-conviction rights that you have, all right? You may remain seated while I give you these rights, okay? You need to know that you have the right to seek post-judgment relief from your convictions, the crimes, by either making a motion for a new trial in this court and or filing an appeal to a higher appellate court. If you wish to file a motion for a new trial or an appeal, then you will need to file the said motion or notice of appeal with the clerk of the Superior Court of this county within 30 days of the judgment and the jury verdict, the final disposition. You may wish to more fully discuss this with your lawyers. If a motion for new trial is made and the court denies it, you will have 30 days from the filing of the order of denial in which to file with the clerk of this court your notice of appeal. You have a right to have a lawyer represent you on the motion for new trial and the first level of direct appellate review. And if you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, the court will provide you a lawyer and a transcript of your trial at no cost. With respect to felony convictions, you usually have a period of 4 years from the date that your sentence in this court becomes final to file what is known as a habeas corpus petition. On any misdemeanors, you have a period of 1 year from the date your sentence in this court becomes final to file a habeas corpus petition. All right? And with that, they may be taken back. Yes. All right. Yes. Your excuse.
Where the unsigned hip-hop and R&B get all the airplay. Here on Hip Hop Wild Radio TV.